Hey, welcome back, Team DWC. TWP Popcorn. Y'all already know what time it is. 6 p.m. on Wednesday. If not, it'll be 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. If not, it'll be a random time that the shorts do pop up because they pop up when they pop up. Shouts out to keeping it popping because you know how we do over here. It's the popcorn team, so we keep shit popping. Anyways, we got some more videos to do today because y'all know that's what we do. We come through and talk to y'all about stuff we want to talk about, right? Maybe. I don't know. If you want to talk about it, you want to talk about it. If you don't, hell, you can just network in the chat. Hell, I appreciate giving somebody time and opportunities to network at somebody else's house other than theirs. Hard to network when you're live, unless you popcorn, because then you know how to do it. You got 2-3 phones on the side. You be over here checking to see who's in the chat. You got 2-3 tabs open, just like right now. Multiple tabs open. But anyways, I ain't gonna talk your ear off because I'm gonna talk your ear off already. Y'all know how we do. Yeah, close that. Don't want to end stream. I just want to go back and look at the chat. So when people pop up, we know who is cracking. Shout out to that big homie for that intro beat. Appreciate the fact. You guys is like, man, this is slap hard on his beginning. Came in the house the other day, me and my brother, we were playing pool. He came in, he said, hey, Dad, what's the difference between a hypothetical question and a realistic question? Well, you know, my brother, he kind of skippy too, you know. Hypothetical. They basically mean the same, but sometimes they be different, you know. He said, for example, go upstairs and ask your mother, will she make love to the mailman for $250,000? My nephew ran upstairs, came back 10 minutes later. He said, Daddy, Mama said she'll fuck the mailman, the milkman, and any other man for $250,000. He said, well, I see. He said, well, son, go downstairs and ask your sister, will she make love to the next door neighbor for $250,000? He ran downstairs, came back 15 minutes later, and said, Father, sister said she'll fuck the next door neighbor, the neighborhood, and the next block for $250,000. My brother looked at me, I looked at him. I said, tell him, man, tell him. He said, let me tell you something. Son, hypothetically speaking, we should have $500,000. He said, but realistically speaking, son, we living with 2 hoes. Shout out to Bernie, man. No, he came with that original fire.
Hey everyone, brand new week. Welcome into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. I am your host, Shad Dales. This morning I'm going to look at one that really shows how uneven cannabis reform still is in the U.S. This is an eye-opener. This was first reported by Marijuana Moment, and it dives into new FBI data showing that in states where marijuana remains illegal, cannabis arrests are still the single biggest driver of the war on drugs. Yet, here we are in 2025. So while dispensaries are opening on Main Street in half the country, people in prohibition states are still being arrested for possession. So the war on drugs seems to be still healthy. So today I want to break down what the numbers say, but also what it means, because this isn't just a policy story, it's a reality check on how far we still need to go. So let's get into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. All right, so here is the big headline. In in states where marijuana is still fully illegal, over 50% of all drug arrests are for cannabis. So let that sink in. Not fentanyl, not meth, not opioids. Cannabis does not make sense. And roughly 9 out of 10 of those arrests are for possession. Not manufacturing, not trafficking, possession. So when people talk about the war on drugs, this data makes it clear. In many states, the war on drugs is still really just the war on marijuana. And it's not just about statistics. Each arrest, as we know, has ripple effects. Lost jobs, legal fees, criminal records, and communities that continue to be over-policed for something that's legal just a few miles away. So really, when you think about all this, this is what I call the geography of hypocrisy. Because depending on where you live, cannabis is either a product you can buy from a licensed store or a crime that can land you in jail. Because think about this. If you live in the state of Illinois, you can walk into a state-of-the-art dispensary, but drive 20 minutes into Iowa and you could be arrested for having that same product in your car. Furthermore, the data also reveals another uncomfortable truth. The majority of these arrests are happening in low-income communities and really communities of color, the same groups that have historically carried the heaviest burden of the drug war, and that is putting it mildly. And that means the justice system is still perpetuating the same disparities we thought we were moving past, but we're clearly not. So yes, legalization is definitely spreading, but justice clearly isn't keeping up. It's another example, as I say each and every week, that Washington has to speak up and modernize these laws. So let's now look at what I call the policy pressure cooker. Now, this data is going to ramp up pressure on both federal and state lawmakers. Let's first look at the state level, where governors in prohibition states will have to answer an obvious question right now. And that is, why are we spending millions on marijuana arrests when neighboring states are collecting millions in tax revenue? Like, come on, everyone. And at the federal level, this strengthens the case for rescheduling again, or even broader federal legalization. Because as long as cannabis, let's face it, remains a Schedule I drug, law enforcement has every incentive to keep prosecuting it at the state level, and it doesn't make sense. And make no mistake, law enforcement unions, prosecutors, and certain political groups, they still benefit from that enforcement funding. But if they're looking at it that way, I'd look at the amount of tax revenue that can be generated if you regulate it. So work smarter, not harder. But here's also the bigger takeaway. Enforcement doesn't equal control in any of this. It really just keeps people in the shadows.
Hell, we all already know. Well, some people don't know, but hell, them keeping around the problems is just them keeping around the problems. We know the people that make the laws ain't here to solve the problems. They just here to keep people under control. Oh yeah, we wrote this law that says you can't be a human. How the fuck am I supposed to not be human? I was born that way. Type shit.
While the legal industry, it grows elsewhere. And before we go any further into today's TDR Cannabis in 5, a quick word from our friends at Dutchie. It is the tech company powering thousands of dispensaries across North America right now. They are the industry leader because Dutchie is all about simplifying the retail experience for dispensaries, and they've got a brand new product launch that's coming up that's set to basically change the industry and make it even more effective. From online orders to tracking inventory and really connecting with customers. If you want to learn more and if you run a dispensary, visit business.dutchie.com. So let's now move to our next segment, what I like to call the bigger picture. So what do the numbers really tell us right now? To me,
well, hell, I recall you pulled up on me first because we met in Scully's chat. Apparently, you seen me out here networking, doing my THIN to the G, and then you pulled up on me, and you really did pull up on me. So that's why I pay you a lot of attention because I'm like, oh, hold on, who the fuck is this? Because they done not only came to the chat, they done brought a couple of friends with them, and they went to the buy me a coffee. Shouts out to you buying me a coffee. Hell, that's why I definitely make sure I show appreciation for your support because hell, you supported me. Hell, you paid for what you wanted. You wanted a new friend, and you could buy one that day. And good thing I was cheap, right? Yeah, I was cheap that day. Whatever you bought, to buy me a coffee. I was like, oh, well, who is this? Is he Bob? All right, bet. Then I see you in chat. Then I did my homework because that's what we always talk about. 2025 was all about the homework. It wasn't 2025 when we met, but that's exactly what the workbook was setting up for because I was putting in that work. Shouts out to the workbook back in 2024. Hell, that's what we did back then. Somebody paying attention to us. I see you in 2 or 3 different other chats. Bet we cool, we family. We gonna do what it do because that's what we do. Just like he trying to say that these damn companies is over here not doing too much for us because that's that bullshit. Don't you all me, motherfucker. We always have cute moments. That's why I'm called popcorn. Hell, I'll let you know why I like you. Because you like me. So I, of course, reciprocate. That's what they call it, right? I return the favors. Speaking of returning the favors, I rolled up fire in a hole.
They show 3 things that anyone in the cannabis space needs to pay attention to. Number 1 is the obvious. Legalization without expungement isn't enough right now. When we look at this, tens of thousands of Americans still have criminal records for cannabis. If reform doesn't include cleaning those things up, we're only solving half the problem right now. Number 2 is economic logic will eventually win. Because let's face it, states can't keep criminalizing cannabis while watching their neighbors generate tax revenue, jobs, and business investment. It makes no sense. We're already seeing that economic pressure in places like Ohio, PA, now Virginia is about to go online with adult use. It's become a bipartisan issue. And third is the moral argument is shifting. When the FBI's own data shows that the vast majority of drug arrests in prohibition states are for cannabis, it undercuts every old talking point about public safety. At some point, even conservative lawmakers have to ask, is this really what law enforcement should be spending its time on? Like, come on. How many people are dying every single year in the U.S. on opioids? So to wrap things up, here are my key takeaways as someone who covers this space daily and really talks with CEOs, advocates, and policymakers. Number 1, the cannabis movement, it isn't finished. It's still fractured. It has a ways to go. We're living right now in 2 Americas. In a lot of ways, it's like 50 states are operating as 50 different countries. In one state, you have it legal, and the next state, you can be criminalized for it. Doesn't make sense, and it's not sustainable. And number 2, and I've been harping on this a lot for the last few months, is rescheduling. It won't fix the problem, but states will still have the power to criminalize possession unless Congress or the courts create national standards. That is why Washington needs to speak up. And number 3, the market can't separate itself from the mission. Every company operating in this space, from MSOs to tech platforms, should be supporting reform that aligns with legality, with fairness. Because really, if we ignore the enforcement side of cannabis, we're just cashing in while others, let's face it, are still being punished and spending time in jail. That's not right. And really, that's the truth of it. So to wrap things up here today, the new FBI data shows that marijuana arrests are still the backbone of the drug war in prohibition states. But more importantly, it reminds us that legalization and justice aren't the same thing right now. So as we know, as the cannabis industry evolves, we have to keep both in focus: progress in markets and fairness in law. That's the reality. So again, Washington, this is not sustainable. We need information from you, and we need it now. That's it for now in our latest TDR Cannabis in 5. Leave your comments below. Love to get your feedback. This is a hotly contested topic right now. I'm sure a lot of you that follow this channel and follow this industry are singing the same sentiment that we need change because these laws do not make sense. Also, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications. Stay connected with us here at the TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. All right, everyone, that's it. Enjoy your day. We'll see you in the next video. Hope you found this informative. I'm your host, Shad Dales. Take care, everyone.
Hey, you know Shad be serious when he got on that black hoodie. He be on his bullshit when he in that white hoodie. He be like, shit, I got on a white hoodie today, so y'all already know he feeling himself. Because then, we got the black hoodie on. He trying to put you up on that game.
Blowing up, man. We got customers from all over New York. We even stole a few from Samson.
Oh, what's up, nigga?
Come on in, man. Come on in here, we man.
Thanks, baby. You know, it's Peter, don't get scared. Yeah.
What can I get you today, Smoke a Lot?
Lovely. Let me get a pound of your Swedish chiba.
Damn. Something told me to bring a lot of weed, man. Yeah. Pound of my Swedish Chiba. Oh, you know better than that.
Now get the bag, baby.
That's gonna be $9,600, bro.
See what I got here.
She said Virginia ain't taking alcohol out the market.
Come on, man. Hang out for a minute.
I'm gonna have to look.
I got weed.
The last thing I heard about Virginia is it was almost a place to cook.
I'll stay for a minute, but then I gotta be going.
What up, Piff Like? I get to see how you doing.
Up to me like I was Barbara Walters.
I know to go open up the Piff like Barbara.
He told me about his lawyer.
He had sex with my mama. Why?
Spirituality.
God, if you listen, hell,
His bad back.
Doctor said I need a backiotomy.
His love life.
I'm in for this, man. Get away from me, bitch.
I mean, talk about a guy with problems. Tough break.
I can't take it too far.
No wonder he smoked a pound a week. Somebody
That's our Smoke a Lot.
So now we had a famous clientele.
That's who Pootie Tang grew up to be, though. Yeah.
Guess what else? Call me next week. About weed.
He said about weed. Make sure you call me about weed. I don't want to hear your personal business.
Okay, so where are we starting out here?
So basically, these are the moms, bro. So initially, when we started all this, we would start from seed, and we hunted genetics from people like Only Seed Co. and Greenfire Genetics and 808 Genetics. And so when we got all these seed projects, we'd pop everything, and as we found things we liked to keep it in our lineage, we would take the moms, take cuts, and establish moms.
You ain't got
so everything in here is a different mom.
Falling over from
of various staples that we have, So
THC overdoses.
like this one right here, this is the motor breath. This one right here is GMO, which is one of the more popular strains that we're known for. I think that's your favorite.
So when you see a mom, since there's obviously no nose growing on these, like how do you visually identify the
if your vision's already blurred?
So basically, plants have two main states of life. There's a vegetative state and then a flowering state. And so you can keep a plant locked into the vegetative state. It doesn't have to flower. And that's all based on the light, how many hours we let the light stay on. So as long as we keep the lights on for so many hours, anything really above 17 hours, then they'll stay locked in veg, and they'll just continue to grow and grow and grow, so that we're able to come in and take clones off of them. And that's how we're able to populate rooms with the same genetic, And so basically that's it. It's like every round we determine what we want to go into the room. Every one of these moms is a different genetic. So it's just a matter of, all right, this round are we going to grow GMO or motor breath or hot tropic like over there, or papaya cooler.
Now, see, that's the good thing about your plant counts, okay? Because they say you can only have 6 flowering plants. That's why he just said it's important to have your mothers in a corner, locked up, just producing kids. Hey, I said make babies, so make babies. You see what I'm saying? But like he said, you can just go to whatever genetic you want to put into your flower, cut 6 clones, get them all potted and running, and then the next thing you know, your flower room's full. Yeah, that 6 can be all the same one, and then you could have 6 different moms. But there's more than that, because see, now the new law, it only reads as the 6 flowering plants. That means if you got 237 other fucking genetics that you want to run in veg until you can flower them, you can technically do it, because that's how they flipped the new law, right? The new law said only 6 in flowering. So when the police come, guess what you do? You go to your flowering area, you show them your 6 plants that are in flower, and make sure that they can verify the light cycle. Now, in order to verify the light cycle, they either have to sit there for the 12 hours to make sure that this room is the only room that's in flowering cycle, because that'd be a 12-hour wait on a part, or they could look at your timers if you got a timer set, because depending on what type of technology you're using, what I'm saying, if your timer is reflecting that, hey, these flowers in here are in flower and the rest of your setup is not in flower, then that's what they're going to be looking at, because they're going to be like, well, nah, we can't even look at these plants because they're not on my flowering cycle type of time. But y'all don't know that type of shit. That's why you got to get the consultation. Shout out for the people booking this week. Yeah. I'm supposed to have a cleanup video coming up.
Or whatever, we kind of pick what we want.
We're going to have to pick some genetics.
Go and hit those and take as many clones as we need to populate however many lights we're going to grow.
Is there any difference in growing like a female plant than a male plant? Like, do they need different things?
They don't need different things, but you never grow males unless your intent is to populate and pollinate and create new genetics. So males' only goal is to create pollen.
And that's exactly what I tell everybody. You got to pay attention to the law, because when they change it from the 6 clones, 6 in veg, and 6 in flower, right? Because that's what the law used to be. You had the 666. I used to love that shit. 6 clones, 6 in veg, and 6 in flower. So like I said, now the only thing they say is 6 in flower. But everything else you could have if it's not a flowering plant. So you could have as many non-flowering plants as you like, but you can only flower 6 at a time. See, that's the difference. Oh, you can only flower 6 plants at a time. Well, bet that's 6 plants every 8 to 12 weeks, right? Because some things go fast, some things go slow. But hell, you could have them in and out 6 at a time. Okay, this one is a longer one, but that means that'll only be 1 out of my 6 spots, so I can keep shit in and out of my flower tent rotated. Rotationals. Hey, are you in rotation? Shout out to not passing people my blunt, because hell, you ain't smoking with me. Hell, I'll give you some weed to smoke, but you ain't smoking with me, right? Here, smoke this joint, but I ain't gonna pass nothing I'm smoking to you.
When they flower, they produce pollen, whereas when a female flowers, she produces, which is what we smoke. So that would be the biggest difference. But yeah, so we don't keep males in here. We do have one male floating around, but he's in the other room with the rest of the moms, essentially. You keep them segregated. Yeah, you don't have to when they're in veg. It's totally fine, because again, until you put the plants into flower, nothing's going to happen. You can keep males with females. It's once it's in flower that's not a thing anymore. So yeah, that male we keep alive because it's just a good male. And when we continue to hunt genetics and pop seeds and find more phenos, we can always go back to that male again and reuse it to make more seeds and more genetics and more crosses. So, but yeah, what goes into the rooms is all the females, essentially, the clones of all of these.
So very interesting. You got some real big ones back there too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run out of ceiling space in here, see how you doing.
Bro. It's
y'all know he's still over there celebrating all these milestones because they keep coming, right?
To grow,
I get tired of seeing myself. That's why I stopped talking about them. Like, hey, did y'all know we did this? Well, of course y'all know. Y'all the ones watching videos.
The reason I named the company Swank Genetics was I wanted to sell seeds. I want to bring genetics to the world, but nobody's going to buy genetics from a nobody. So it's 100%. Like we have to show flower. We have to prove rosin. We have to be like, oh, well, this plant can give you this rosin. This plant can give you this flower. It's like, and then after so many years of doing that, we're finally to a point where I think people believe in the brand, the process, what we're doing. And so, like, now it's about how do we...
Oh, my guy said he just trying to be a genetic company. Holler at your boy. I might have to leave a comment before next week, because that's why I normally don't clear my playlist out until the next week. That way, in case I see something I wanted to do, I'll have a way to do it.
This many moms, and this isn't even all of them, as you saw. There's another room with more moms.
No, so we're going to see that.
We're getting to a point now where the next step for us is probably tissue culture, which allows us to get rid of these moms and put them in vitro. It's a whole conversation we get into later, but
interesting. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So
so it basically...
I do. We already did a tissue culture video. Go search TWP tissue culture, and it'll pop up with the video I did. Shouts out to me, making myself searchable, because he gonna be looking that up at some point in time, and he might watch my video.
Allows us to...
he might be watching my video. Like, he said something about tissue culture. Let me investigate.
So instead of having a room like this filled with moms, I can have one shelf that's 3 feet wide and have 500 moms on it.
Same.
So it's a different way of storing genetics. It's not needed when you're not at scale, but now that we have so many moms and the goal is to make so many seeds, we have to. We just have to selectively have a place where we can grab genetics from. And then just go, okay, this round we're going to pollinate these set of genetics as opposed to just this, It's just overwhelming, It's very overwhelming.
I mean, you do a lot, bro. I don't get how you keep up with all this. Like, I've been to a lot of grows in my life, and I mean, you guys who have watched my content for a while have probably seen me go to a lot of different grows and a lot of different people's setups, and like, you're one of the only people who literally does every step of the process. Like, you breed the genetics, you grow the flower, you wash the flower, like, you do everything.
And a lot of why that is, bro, is, full transparency. I just don't think there's a lot of people doing good things in this industry anymore. When I got into this scene, it was a community. And now it's not. Everybody's out for themselves. Nobody wants to pay homage to the people that helped them get to where they're at. Nobody wants to help each other out. It's how can I step on your throat to make sure you don't thrive?
Dog-eat-dog world.
Yeah, but it's crazy in this because this is $1 billion industry. There's so much room for growth. And the fact that people want to garner and hide things and act as if whatever they do is better than the next guy, it's very frustrating to me. So I don't do this by myself through and through, single source per se, out of the fact that I don't want to collab with people. It's very difficult, man. Everybody has an angle and everybody has an edge and everybody wants to just be out for themselves, bro. It's the easiest way to put it. So it's like, this is birthed out of sheer necessity. In the beginning, when I had one light and nobody gave a shit about Swank, it's like, okay, well, cool. well, can I get a genetic? Yeah, but I want $20,000 for a tray of cuts. It's like, well, all right, bro. Like, what am I going to do with that? You know, it's like, I got one light. I'm just trying to grow, you know?
Yeah.
So that lack of getting help in the beginning, you know, it's like this, the tale of everybody will come back once you make it and be like, dude, the whole time I knew you were going to make it. And it's not. That's never the case. Like, no, bro, you guys were all telling me I wouldn't make it. You guys were all trying to tax me. You guys were all...
I definitely love to see it because, like I said, I'm not a hater. I've just gotten so many myself. I hate seeing milestones. Hey, then I got 3 or 4. No, I had 4 YouTube channels, so that's why I'm saying I got to the point where I hated seeing milestones because every other email was a milestone. Because hell, I was running them 4 channels till the fucking wheels fell off. Good thing I hit a number of goals on one and shut that channel down, and then on the other one I done lost the damn login info because somebody hacked my account type shit. But you know that's the good bad news there, right? Yeah, they're not actually fucking up my YouTube channel. They just fucked up the login info, so I can't log back into that email. Which kind of sucks because you know that was the business channel. Shouts out to Team Deepwater Cultivating. You know, you can still look up all the videos over there because they still up and running. But other than that, yeah, like I said, you know, 4 channels, and then all of them were popping because you know how we do. We show you the cheat codes. That's why I was glad you said you was making more shorts. I'm like, oh, that's gonna definitely get his views up because we know you be networking, so you got your subs up. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Beat After Beat. He ain't said nothing. Well, he did say something about that 2,000 subs, but it wasn't like a special. It wasn't like he went live out of nowhere on a Sunday type shit in the afternoon. Or man, back to the topic. You got me talking, Beat.
Trying to not help and not
what up, DJ? Is good to see you. How you doing?
How to grow and help make it a little easier. So like we got to this point out of just.
But I'm always glad to see other people getting their milestones.
I'm self-taught, bro. Like I figured all this out.
Because you making milestones to keep you in the game. Hell, I had to do it 4 times.
Doing power incorrectly, losing things from mold, losing things from mites and eighth. Like
let's get all of them
over and over and over and over and over, and then eventually we got to a place where, through all that loss, we educated ourselves. You know, and then now it's like we have the knowledge. Why go back? You know, and so that's why you're looking at a room filled with moms that are about to touch the ceiling. Is it's like there's just no need to reach out for help anymore. You know, now we just figure it. And again, now we're finally to a place where it cannot be about the flour. It cannot be about the hash. We've proven that. We've shown that. People know consistency over years. People understand, like, damn, it's just always fire. It's always consistent. The same swank number 1 I got 7 years ago, when he puts it in a jar 7 years later, it's the same smell, the same look. It's the same. And like that day in and day out, year in and year out consistency, that's the whole reason we're launching the seeds now. It's just like that was never my goal. The seeds, man, that's what it is. And finally, I think that the community, people like yourselves and Eric and whoever else, you know, like my boy Chris and just a lot of people that believe in me that have big platforms, they're all willing to help me now and help platform this and help push the seeds. And, you know, that's the most rewarding thing for me, bro, because it was never about selling flour or selling. It was about seeds, but how do I get people to want them, you know?
Yeah.
And we're there.
I mean, it seems like genetics are really your passion at the end of the day.
It's everything, bro.
You know?
It's absolutely everything.
And I got to say, I mean, I think that is one of the main things that draws me to your flower is, like, you have a lot of
Now, I know some of y'all goofy people wondering why none of the fans are on, but they are trying to record a video. Okay. For the people that don't know, that's the reason why my tent stays shut, because you can hear those damn fans. That'll be the only thing you'll be able to hear. Hell. Listen to nothing else because then fans will be kicking. That's why they turned them off for right now because they in there trying to talk and have a conversation that's recorded for other people to hear. This ain't that young buck tape conversation. Shouts out to that video, but you know how it goes.
Yeah, like
there'll be that one person in the comments. I bet you. Why are the fans off?
Like your GMO is not like.
We want you to yell and keep
GMO,
the fans happy for a 5 to 10 minute video.
Bro. What's crazy about that is full transparency is that cut of GMO. I can't really say where I got it from, but
and look, you see how clean those blades look, though, right?
He blessed me with that.
Yeah, blades
is the same cut of GMO that some of your most popular companies that have GMO grow.
So I'm doing
It's
cleaning
not a
video
crazy cut that
Saturday.
I
I'm
hunted.
gonna have to clean up
That
everything.
GMO and this
Start
motor
over.
breath are the
Scratch.
only two things I've ever gotten from
Let's
a cut.
go. Winter indoors,
Everything
right?
else was started from seed from us.
Maybe.
But in the beginning, when I
Might
was
have
trying
to
to
wait.
find the GMO, that was in like 2019 when it was at its absolute peak.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted it, and everybody was taxing to get the cut. And randomly, a dude that worked for another spot had a falling out with that guy, and he was like, "Yo, if you want the cut, it's yours. Just look out for me someday." You know?
Perfect.
I was like,
chance happening.
Cool. So it's like, yes, it's different, but when you say that, it's good for me, and a lot of people say that, and it's cool to me because that's not some special cut. I didn't hunt that. I didn't do anything crazy. That's the same cut that's been in the market for a long time.
Yeah.
And that to me just goes to show it is about the grow. It really is, bro. Because
100%.
I'm not growing a special cut of
100%.
GMO. You know, it comes down to, again, the care, the love.
Genetics are just the first step.
Yep.
You know?
100%. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that's the moms. And we have more, but, you know, we can show you some flour now if you want to.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Take me to the next room.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gents. So once again, we have some more moms in here, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. This
Mama.
So, like, to what I was saying in the other room with the moms, it's like, welcome to my nightmare / heaven, I guess. But this is the problem with doing what I'm doing is this is why we're going to start doing the tissue culture stuff. Because right now, if we don't start TCing, I'm going to run out of space, bro. And I'm going to have to start killing off genetics because, you know, obviously there's a lot of overhead in keeping this many moms. And again, being that I'm not really in this for the money per se, I have to have these. You know,
Yes.
It's not like a dude that's trying to trap where it's like, no, I'll just keep one mom and I'll just keep pushing out product. It's like, no, I need as many genetics and as many moms as possible so I can do as many different runs and as many different crosses and as many different breeding projects as possible, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, yeah, this is the nightmare. This is why we're going to the TC, but this is the rest of the moms. Like, this is currently what we have. I think right now we have 23 staple genetics in total between the first mom room you saw and this room right now.
Wow.
And so, like, again, it's cool because you can see the difference in structure and size. You know, there's plants back there that are the lychee candy that's in there that doesn't stretch. It's hard to see, but if you look in the very back over here, there's a plant that's like a third the size.
Very tiny back there.
Yep. That's lychee candy.
That's the lychee mom.
Yep. So same thing, like how it doesn't stretch in flower, it also doesn't stretch in veg comparatively to other genetics. And it's cool. Like, you can see this. This is our papaya cooler, right? This is a very big and bushy plant, takes up a lot of area. You know, all of these moms were taken on the exact same day. So these are all the same age. So the fact that you have some that are more wispy, some that are fatter and denser like this, some that are shorter and squat like that, some that are like this where they're more just a tight plant that just grows vertical. You know, that's the cool thing too, is you can also get a lot of information from plants in the vegging stage too. You know, so yeah, I just want to show you guys the rest, and like it's cool, man. The moms are my favorite thing to look at, honestly. So
I'm curious, what is this that you grow them in? Because that's what you use for everything, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, so this is rock wool, and specifically these, a lot of people grow with hydro, they grow in rock wool, so that's basically volcanic rock that they heat up to a molten temperature and then they spin it. So kind of think of it like a cotton candy machine.
Okay.
And they basically heat up molten rock and then they spin it and like
pull back. It's like stuck to my clothes.
Yeah, that's from all the flour. But yeah, so basically it's just volcanic rock, so it is natural in that sense.
Interesting.
And what it is it's a fibrous material after they spin it. So the reason I use this and how I got to using this is the shape that it is. It doesn't really compact down. It's kind of like Legos in the sense of how it compacts. So meaning like if you just throw a bunch of Legos in a bin, you're going to see a bunch of pockets of air where they land weird ways, and then there's pockets. So what I found initially when I started doing this is that those pockets allow for faster rooting. And so because the roots don't have to fight to go where they want to go. And so there's also better airflow, so you don't have to risk as much of like getting root rot, which is a common problem with people, like overwatering your plants. Just like if you sat in a tub too long, you start to get pruny, right? That happens to them.
Oh.
So you want dry back in your roots. It's called dry back, right? You want your medium to dry out to a certain point so that you don't have pruning like a human would if they sat in a tub too long, right?
Yeah.
So by that logic, having these square like they are, you just naturally have big ass pockets of air all throughout this pot, you know? So you get faster rooting times, you get more rapid root growth, and then you also just have better oxygenation for the roots. You have a easier time getting a dry back and having the medium dry out, so you don't have to worry about other issues that can come from not having your medium dry out, right? And and then it's just clean, bro. The cool thing with this is that we pot it, so that's something that a lot of people don't do with hydro. A lot of people that grow with rock wool, they grow in bigger blocks that are called Hugos, sometimes Big Mamas. There's different names that they have for different sizes, but the most common one are Hugos, which are 6 inches by 6 inches by 6 inches. And people will take a clone, and you'll see in a minute when we get to the clones, people will take a clone and they'll put it in a 6-inch cube, and they'll actually grow in that cube. The downside to that is that you're never able to develop a root mass per se, right? And root masses are important because that's how you're going to get the strength in the plant, so it can hold itself up, and when it starts producing colas, not fall over, right? So the bigger the roots, the bigger the fruits. That's kind of like one of the sayings in the underground,
that's
right?
a bar. I
right.
like that.
So with that being said, like, it's all about establishing a root mass. And so in traditional grows these days, when people grow with hydro, specifically rock wool, they don't do that. A lot of people stack. I don't really know any other gardens that are potting like this. But that's why, bro. Between the oxygenation, the better vegging times, the faster rooting, and then the ability for it to dry back better, it's just a better way. And you can get a root mass with the pot.
We already was looking into that too, because that's what the homeboy creative does. Shouts out to that big homie. We gotta appreciate that. Why is that not automatically scrolling down? I've been missing messages, but that how it be. Yeah, I keep forgetting Thanksgiving is next week. Hell, time flies. And although my daughter's birthday was just last Sunday, so I was like, damn, Thanksgiving coming up, because that's what that means. Kid's birthday, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And then we'll call it a new year. What are we going to be doing for 2026? I don't remember what the playlist is supposed to be called. I need to start working on it, though, because, I think I started this one right after Thanksgiving last year, so we'll check and see. We will have to check and see.
And then aside from that, the only other big thing is that they don't retain. So the reason I enjoy this is that the medium doesn't retain nutrients. It's kind of every day that you water, it gets rid of what happened the day prior, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So you don't have issues with what they call stacking. Now, you can if you don't water enough, but that's a whole other conversation. Assuming you water correctly and assuming that you get runoff, meaning that you water enough where water starts coming out the bottom of the pot. That way you know everything's fully saturated. Then you'll never get stacking. You'll never have issues with your pH. You'll never have parts per million issues, where stacking means that basically if I water but don't let it run off, then the pH changes in the medium because I didn't flush it per se. I more just watered it enough and then it sits there. Right? So you want to water until you see stuff coming out the bottom, because then you're flushing out what you did the day prior, if that makes sense. So like the cool thing with that is if you do that, then you're good. But you can stack where if you don't water enough, then the next day you water, it's going to higher pH and your parts per million. And the next day it'll make it higher. And eventually you can make your medium toxic to where it'll kill the plant.
It's no good.
It's no good.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, so this allows you to, it doesn't take things, it doesn't keep anything, so it allows you to not have those issues, bro. So all the way around, it's just a better, for me personally, it's a better thing for indoor. I do love soil. I'm not a dude that hates soil. Like, that's always the big debate with growers. It's like, I'm a living soil this, or I'm a hydro that, or I'm a whatever. I don't care, bro. I love it all. Just show me something fire that I can smoke, and I don't really give a fuck how you did it, bro. Is it fire? Great. I'm much more simple with that. But for me, for indoor, I believe this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. That's not a fact. It's just for us and our way, it's the best way. If I was outdoor, 100% soil all day, I wouldn't even consider doing this,
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, that's really it. Outside of that, it's just talking seeds, show you some clones, and that's
Check
it,
them
bro.
out, dude. We got a lot of clones on the table here.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Wayne done came down here back gaming.
Everybody in New York was calling
Shouts
to
out
get
to
down with
nephew.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Trying
We
to
met
do
all
his
kinds of
YouTube journey
customers,
too.
like this guy here. He's what we call an enhancement smoker, because he thinks that marijuana makes every activity that much better.
Casa su casa.
Observe.
You're Scarface, right? Yeah. I love Al Pacino, man. Did you ever see Scent of a Woman?
Yeah.
You ever seen Scent of a Woman on weed? That's the way to see it, man. It's just whack.
He said the turkey don't last on the loop hill. That's what's up.
$60.
Meal
yo.
prep. Shout out to the holidays. Turkey, pork chops, chunky.
Bill, man.
Yeah.
No, I don't know, yo. Did you ever see back of a $20 bill? On weed. Oh, there's some weird shit there, man. There's a dude sitting in the bushes, man. Does he have a gun? I don't know, man. I don't know. What? Red team go. Red team go. It's just some weird shit, man. Man, you fucking crazy, yo. Let's go. Thanks, man. Hey, yo, wait. Dude, I'm gonna check out these stars
Where's my notepad?
later. It's really trippy.
Especially on weed, man. Oh, that's not the one I want. Where's the other one?
After approximately 40 days, a few plus, of the government being shut down, the United States government is back open with the passage of the appropriations bill for 2026. Hey, I'm Morgan Davis. I'm a health and wellness attorney in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's talk about how to keep your business protected and thriving. It's a short appropriations bill. Most of it is only effective through January of next year. One provision, thankfully, for SNAP benefits is open through September of next year. But rolled in this massive piece of legislation to reopen our government was, for the hemp industry, a very terrifying set of language that is being lauded as the closure of the loophole. Now, as we've talked about before, the 2018 Farm Bill did not create a loophole. It's not a loophole. You can see the video that I've posted before. Setting that argument aside and my extreme hate of that word in this usage, it's also being touted as a ban of the hemp industry. It's not a ban. First thing to understand is, one, what is in law as of last night when it was signed by the president is not effective for hemp for a year. So 365 days from today, that language goes into effect, not before then. It affects federal law. It does not immediately affect state law. It also does not affect state law a year from now if a state has its own standalone laws not based on federal law. So, for example, a state like North Carolina that has its own laws and own definitions, yes, adopted from the 2018 Farm Bill, but standalone, not dependent on, that law will not change unless it is changed at the state level. So, one, don't panic. Nothing happens for a year. Two, in your state, it may not happen, period. Three, what is going to happen next? What will happen next is that in the next 90 days, the FDA has to look at the existing cannabinoids that they deem appropriate and identify them as psychoactive. Part of the appropriations bill that passed talked about limiting the definition of hemp in a number of ways. One of the ways it limited it is changing the Delta 9 THC concentration as the limitation for what is hemp and marijuana from a Delta 9 THC concentration to a total THC concentration. We've talked before about the difference of those standards, Delta 9 versus total THC. Quick crash course. Delta 9, one cannabinoid. Total THC generally takes, or the post-decarboxylation method, takes into account both the Delta 9 THC and the THCA times 0.877. Okay. The idea being that should give you an idea of what the THC concentration of the product would be, or the intoxicating effect of the product would be once degraded, usually by the application of heat. The slight nuance to that is that in this bill, they've gone beyond the traditional total THC adoption, and for products, both intermediate and final products, which we'll talk about in a second, the total THC calculation takes into account both the Delta 9, the THCA, and any other THCs or cannabinoids in hemp that are psychoactive or mimic Delta 9 or THCA. The body, the regulating body that will make the decision about what those cannabinoids are is the FDA. And they're supposed to do it in the next 90 days. The FDA has been tasked with doing anything in hemp since 2018, and they have yet to do so, and in fact keep going back to Congress and saying we're incapable of doing so. So I'm going to be very interested to see if they in fact come out with a list in the next 90 days. But that is a task that we know is supposed to occur, with a set deadline. As far as everything else, it's a bit of a question mark. Will there be opportunities for this to change, right? So we know that if nothing changes, it goes into effect in a year. What are the opportunities for it to be changed within the next year? One is, as I said previously, this language, part of it really only goes through January of next year. So about 60 days from now. Will there be an opportunity for new language to be proposed or amending language to be proposed on this change itself? I'm sure there's going to be lobbying efforts to get that done, right? There will also be a reconsideration of the Farm Bill. If you remember, the Farm Bill was not readdressed this year. So it has to be addressed next year and reissued. That is another opportunity for this language to once again be addressed. In addition to that, I already know there are several representatives and senators talking about amendments to the appropriations bill for a variety of other reasons that you can read in the news about sanctions for pulling senators' records and all sorts of stuff. All of these potential amendments that might come up give an opportunity for our industry to come into the picture and say, while we're dealing with all this other stuff that you don't like, we would like to readdress what you have done to hemp. There are lots of people out there speculating about the success of that. Is it real? Who will do it? Etc. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. One, nobody has a crystal ball, guys. Two, here's what we do know. The consumer always wins. Consumers are not going to stop buying these products, even if a year from now, this language goes into play and the market becomes very, very small. Consumers are going to find a way to have access to these products because they want them. Because consumers want them, businesses will find a way to provide them and make money off of it. Because that's what they do in this country. That's what we're all doing. We're all in a business to provide a service that people want to buy. Okay? So, I know that there's going to be a lot of lobbying at the federal level. And there's going to be a lot of potential change that could take place at the state level. So first thing to start thinking about is, how are you advocating for yourself? Are you part of a national advocacy group for hemp? Whether it be the U.S. Hemp Roundtable or the Americans for Healthy Alternatives Association or the National Hemp Industry Association. If you're not, or CABA, if you're not, find one, find your people, and start advocating for yourself at the national level. It's important. And that's why I said this isn't a ban, it's evolution. But maybe it's also a revolution. One of the things that we saw come out of the last couple of weeks of this really ugly, heated backdoor fight for hemp and against hemp is that we as a hemp industry, which is large and has many facets and lots of parties and lots of interests, do not have a united voice. And we do not have a united stance other than we want to be able to be in business. Okay, well, a year from now, between the total THC standard and the 0.4 milligrams of THC per container cap, 0.4 milligrams of THC per container, it's basically nothing. Between those provisions, interstate commerce and federal sales or national sales of these products as they are now is going to be very difficult unless something changes. Put more simply, you may go out of business. The industry may see a serious culling of lots of the businesses that currently exist. So, maybe this is the catalyst that gives us one voice. We will certainly need a professional, well-organized, and very articulate voice at the federal level to fight against those that want this industry either for themselves or eliminated, whether it be big cannabis or big alcohol or big pharma or, prohibitionists, you name it. The voice for this industry is going to need to carry the clout that they do. At the state level, this is where you're going to see a lot of dynamic movement in the next 365 days. I imagine once we come back into session, probably before then, I'm already hearing it Trump signed it into law last night. 2 days ago, I started seeing movement at the state level of people who are going to try and ban the hemp industry at the state level, significantly limit it, recommend that the federal limitation that has yet to be implemented be the new law in that state. You should expect to see more of that as we move into January and February and people come back from the holidays and come back into session. I think you will also see a more united, stronger, passionate, and with a will to live hemp industry fighting hard to keep what it has at the state level. So my advice again starts with, where is your home base? Where are you operating out of? Are you part of an advocacy group in that state? If you're not, form one. Call your senators, call your House of Representatives, take them to coffee, go to their office, make sure they know your face, make sure they know your business, and start having a hawk's eye on what's going on in your state so that what you have, you keep. Or if you want better, this is the opportunity potentially to open the conversation and come out with better law. If the federal language goes into effect in a year, this becomes a state-by-state game, much like they deal with on the regulated cannabis side. That's hard. It's not impossible. And for lots of people, it'll still allow them to continue to operate as long as their state laws don't change. But for any company who's trying to move product out of their state into other states, you're looking at having to develop manufacturing agreements with manufacturers in every state you want to be in. Maybe you license it, sub-licenses, all number of other additional business complications, which again can be worked through and you can operate in. But it will be much different than you are doing now. The next thing is to look at yourself, you, the business owner, the stakeholder, the consumer. What is it that you want? This is a moment of reflection, okay? What we have feared has happened. Take a breath and sit with yourself. What do I want now? What is my North Star? Why did I get into this business? Why do I care about this industry? Where do I want to be in a year? Where do I want to be in 5 years? And what is the purpose behind it? As I've said before, if your purpose is just to make money, you won't last. If your purpose is greater than that, if it's personal, if it's tied to something, then dig back into that. Check in. Is that what you're serving? Ask yourself, is this the opportunity to pivot, to change, to adjust? For some of you, the answer will be, I'm all in. No matter what.
Some people, they
full
don't already
steam
got
ahead.
their money back.
I'm pushing as hard as I can until the
Some
day they
people
tell me
chasing
I
the dragon.
can't. For some, it will be starting to get skinny and very focused with the idea that if needed, you can easily close up shop and pivot to something else. For some, it will be, I'm out, I've had too much, it's time to move on to this other passion project that I've been thinking of. None of those answers are wrong. And so that's why I say, this isn't a ban, it's evolution. Change is the only constant, ever. We all knew change was going to come. We couldn't continue the way we were. So here it is. The question is, what will we do with it? Will we let this be the opportunity for us to get up and say, we hear you. You want something different from us. We want something different from you. And now we go forward together. And this is how we come back at you. Will this be the opportunity for your business to realign, assess, and maybe pivot in the direction you always really wanted to go in? Will this be a really fun year of growth and dynamic change and learning how creative you can be and how to advocate for yourself and your business? I think so. I think this is an evolution for the hemp industry. I hope it's a revolution for all of us to support our communities. What I know it's going to be is 365 days of change. And that staying on top of what's happening is going to be more important than ever. If you need help with that, please come back, subscribe, listen, visit us again. If you need faster, more frequent help, give us a call. And we can talk to you about the services we offer to our clients that are more tailored specifically to their businesses and their products. I'm excited about what's happening in the hemp industry. Yes, we're all nervous. Yes, we're scared. But take a breath. It's going to be very exciting.
Hope you don't mind. We made some tea. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm the bloke you're stealing from. The name's Alistair Rigby, but as far as you're concerned, I'm Willy fucking Wonka, and you're taking a shit in my fucking chocolate factory. Easy, boss. Don't get upset. When I have to go to the dentist, I'm upset. When Liverpool beats Arsenal, I'm upset. But when some little shit decides to take over one of the most profitable territories in the country, I'm beyond fucking upset. I'm very fucking upset. So, from now on, you're under new management. You will work for me, and in return, you'll receive an allowance.
Allowance?
Yes, allowance. As in, I'm allowing you to keep 10%, and I'm allowing you to keep drawing breath on this earth. Now, you either get down or you lay down. What's it gonna be, sunshine?
This wasn't no movie. The smart thing was to say yes, get up, and leave the room. But then I thought to myself, what if this was a movie? Look, fuck you, fuck the plane you flew in on, fuck them shoes, fuck those socks with the bell on it, fuck your gay-ass fairy faggot accent, fuck them cheap-ass cigars, fuck your yuck-mouth teeth, fuck your hairpiece, fuck your chocolate, fuck Guy Ritchie, fuck Prince William, fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
Oh shit!
I think this one spent so much time.
You gotta say that to your boss when you ask if you keep coming in. Are you coming in?
Nobody
No.
fucking move.
Oh, man, this is bad.
What is this? A casting call for the Sopranos reunion? Do me a favour. Tell room service nobody here ordered the extra large whop with a side order of wops.
Whoa!
Boss!
Hey, bro, which city would you live in? Gotham City or Metropolis? That's easy. Gotham City. What? Why Gotham City? Because think about it like this. Most of the problems you'll run into in Gotham, especially the villains, can easily be dealt with by keeping a strap on you. No, that's a lie. I don't believe that. Bro, the only people you really have to worry about is Clayface, Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Bane, and Killer Croc. Everybody else is fair game. Because I know for a fact, Joker, Penguin, Harvey Dent, Scarecrow, and everybody else in this motherfucker is not bulletproof. I know that shit for a fact. I mean, you do have a point on that. But Metropolis, hell no, you'll die within the first week. I mean, if Superman is in Metropolis, doesn't that count for anything? And look at Superman Rogues Gallery. Metello, Atomic Skull, Lex Luthor, Brainiac. Last time I checked, a lot of these motherfuckers are bulletproof. The fuck is a gun gonna do to that shit? That is true. Exactly, so I'll take my chances in Gotham City, bitch.
And people say that people don't be supporting their content.
Hey everyone, welcome into the latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. I am your host, Shad Dales. Look, a lot's been going on over the past week pertaining to this federal ban on all intoxicating hemp products nationwide. So yes, we've addressed this, but today we're going to ask some important and harder questions in all this. Is it too late, or can the hemp and cannabis industries finally form a unified coalition to push back against big alcohol and other legacy players coming for the space? Because after last week, the wake-up call couldn't be louder than it is right now. So setting the stage, this isn't just a story about Delta 8, THC flower, or gas station weed. It's really about two industries that should have been one, spending years fighting with each other while big alcohol, big pharma, and big tobacco, they sat back, wrote checks in DC, and they watched. And I must say, they probably like the idea of the two industries fighting amongst each other. So let's find out if a unified coalition can be formed and what it could mean for both industries moving forward in our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. Let's get into it. All right, let's look back at one of our guests on Trade to Black last week. It is longtime cannabis advocate Brady Cobb, and he put it perfectly. When cannabis and hemp are at war, the only people that win are big alcohol, big pharma, and big tobacco, watching us burn our limited resources fighting against each other. He has a very valid point. I've often wondered why this is the case. So the question now isn't just, is the hemp ban fair? It's, can we get our act together in time to build a real cannabis industry? One plant, one set of rules before the barbarians at the gate take it over. And big pharma and big alcohol and big tobacco are waiting in the wings. And before we go deeper into today's podcast, a quick shout out to Dutchie, the tech backbone for modern cannabis retail. From point of sale to online ordering, inventory, and payments, Dutchie helps dispensaries run cleaner, faster, and smarter. So if you're operating in the space, Dutchie, without a doubt, is the back end that keeps you moving. All for the regulated cannabis industry. If you want to learn more, visit business.dutchie.com. Now, to form this unified coalition, we got to first find out how we got here, the loopholes and the missed chances. Brady Cobb's been clear. This federal hemp crackdown didn't come out of nowhere. For years, hemp operators leaned on loopholes, especially THCA flower and hemp-derived intoxicants, while avoiding serious conversations really about national standards, age gating, and real regulation. So on the cannabis side, licensed operators were stuck in tight regulatory boxes. White opaque packaging, restricted marketing, no interstate commerce, yada, yada, yada. We know all about this. Meanwhile, as Brady Cobb described from Florida, you could leave a regulated dispensary and walk half a block to a hemp shop that's selling candy-branded products that look like Skittles. So that doesn't add up. And he's been saying the same thing for years. In one of his comments he made last week, he said, quote, loopholes get closed, they don't last, end quote. And that's really what this ban is, a big, blunt federal move to close a loophole that ran way too long with no unified plan for how to replace it with something better. Then you got to talk about some of this infighting. And first up, and a prime example, is Amendment 3 and that turf war. Because if we're being honest, this isn't just a story about bad actors, it's also about bad blood. If we look back in November 2024 in Florida's Amendment 3 fight, parts of the hemp industry didn't just sit on the sidelines, they actively funded opposition to adult use cannabis. They backed Ron DeSantis and they helped kill the legalization effort that would have created a clear, regulated environment for everyone. Looking back now, was that really a smart move by the hemp industry and in some ways got us to where we are today? Brady pointed out that some of these same players, they later jumped online to cry dirty politics over the hemp ban, and after writing checks to block hemp regulation bills and attack Amendment 3. So really, again, as I said, that turf war, it mattered big time. It fractured trust, it pushed hemp and cannabis further apart, and it sent a clear message to lawmakers. This industry doesn't agree on what it wants. So Brady's message now is simple. Put the shovels down and find a way to move forward, because this ban is a reckoning, but it can also be reset. Also from last week's interview, one of the most important points...
Now, I'm currently wearing a zip-up hoodie, but I still prefer the pullover. You know, that zip-up hoodie just... And it starts to feel like a jacket at that point. And because it's zip and all that. But when, you get you a overly sized pullover, and then that's the best ones because, you got some space to move around in. She can come up. Never mind, I ain't gonna tell you about how that goes with the extra space in the hoodie. Y'all gotta pay for that type of content. It had me telling stories.
Brady raised is about where a lot of this product actually comes from. So right now, as he said, he doesn't buy the narrative that Kentucky farmers are the ones flooding smoke shops across the country. Not in the least bit. In his view, a big chunk of this inverted product is coming from oversupplied West Coast markets, relabeled and pushed through hemp channels into states like Texas and North Carolina. Where are those oversupply states? Well, California and Oregon. And that's where this gets painful. We also heard from a viewer in Texas worried about throwing away a $2 billion industry. In his case, he's following the rules under Texas's framework. He's not the guy shipping mystery vapes across state lines, but his livelihood is now tangled up with operators who absolutely abuse the loophole. So really, that's the attention right now. We need to get rid of the synthetics, the non-age-gated products, the fake COAs, and the California to corner store pipeline. But we also need to protect legitimate operators, hemp and cannabis, who are trying to comply and serve real consumer demand, because the consumer is ultimately the one that's going to suffer in the end here. So now let's focus our attention on big alcohol, because while hemp and cannabis were duking it out on Twitter and in state legislatures, big alcohol was doing what it's done for 70 plus years, cutting big checks in DC. Brady reminded us declining alcohol sales aren't some abstract stat. They're a flashing red signal that alcohol must find new categories. So beverages, infused products, cross-branding, they're already lining up their entries into this space. And if you don't know, you need to know this. He called them barbarians at the gates, and really, he's not wrong. Why? Well, they've got national distribution. They've got decades of lobbying infrastructure. They also have deep relationships in both parties, political parties. And meanwhile, when you look at us, we've got a plan, a fractured political coalition, and a lot of internal beef. But putting this all aside, here's the upside. We also have something alcohol doesn't. Healthier consumer preference trends, and a product in federal reports is already being recognized as less harmful than alcohol. So keep that in your back pocket, because really that's leverage if we use it the right way. So the big question is it too late for a unified coalition? When I asked that question last week to Brady, his answer was no, I don't think it's ever too late. But he's crystal clear. This ban should be treated as a wake-up call, not the end of the road, not in the slightest. So what does a real coalition mean? Well, it's one plan, one set of rules, not two parallel realities. Also, a shared push on rescheduling so THC and THCA are treated consistently, and we can move toward a state-based, federally recognized framework. Also, a joint strategy going into the next farm bill instead of dueling bills and back-channel sabotage. And most importantly, a willingness to stop fighting over who controls the loophole and start fighting for who controls the future. When you look at this, we've seen this movie before. After Prohibition, the alcohol industry didn't wait around. They went straight to the federal government with a self-regulation plan. What was it? Under 21 bans, packaging rules, and warnings. They defined their own rules of the road. If you want something, go and get it. Because really right now, cannabis and hemp, they've never done that together. So in closing, here's where I land in all this. The intoxicating hemp ban is a day of reckoning. People will lose access. Good operators are going to be hurt. A lot of pain is coming over these next 12 months. But it also could be a springboard. If both sides decide to stop swinging at each other and start building a one-plant framework that actually competes with alcohol, pharma, tobacco on their own level, then we've got something here. Because if we don't, then they're going to write the rules for us. And that is the reality. So what do you think? Should these two industries form a unified coalition and start working with each other? Leave your comments below. We'd love to get your feedback. And as usual, as I always say, make sure to like, subscribe, and smash on that bell for all notifications, and keep connected with us here at TDR. There's no point in tearing each other down. We got to come together, because this was a wake-up call last week, and who knows what's in store for the cannabis industry going into 2026. Best bet, put down the shovels and start working with each other. This is the best solution. That's it for now, everybody, in our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. Appreciate you logging on here today, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone.
Hell, back in the 60s, I used to smoke this shit on the street. Cops didn't say nothing. Hell, they was getting high, too. Everybody was doing it. It wasn't a thing to do because it was a thing to do, you know. It was a thing to do because it got you high. Can you do it?
I feel you. Nah, that's why I'm doing it. I feel it. Yeah. Man, you cool as shit, mister. I hate to do it, but I gotta charge you. That's $60.
$60?
Yeah.
Man, I remember when a dime bag cost a dime. You know, what I mean? You know how much condoms used to cost back in them days?
How much?
I don't know. We never used them.
So that must have been 60 for the eighth, even back in '96. What year that movie come out? Way back when.
What is going on, YouTube? Here we go again. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of 2x2 Growing. Hope you're all having a really awesome day. All right, in tonight's episode, we are going to be going over how to make your buds super dense. If you are growing some buds that are loose, when you pinch them, you can condense them. You want to know what? We need to do something about that. We need to turn those into pure rocks. When you pinch them, there's no give. So we are going to be starting off with nutrients. And we, on top of that matter, are going to be starting off with the nutrient that will make your buds way too fluffy, airy, and give you no chance of success. A good chunk of you probably already know about this one, but it's nitrogen. You don't want to have too much nitrogen towards the end of flowering. That will promote that green growth that gives you that leaf growth. You don't want none of that. You want your plant to be concentrated on the cannabinoids and to be increasing all those nice crystals and terpenes. None of that leaf growth. And now moving on to one of the most overlooked nutrients for your plant, and that is silica. You want to build strong stems. You want to have reinforcements, and silica is the way to do that. If your plant and its branches start to bend over with those heavy buds towards the end of flower, almost at that breaking process, your plant will tell the energy to go elsewhere. It'll no longer develop those bigger buds. It'll pretty much stay at a standstill. And last but not least, we have bloom boosters for the nutrients. Now, I advise you follow the other steps of this video before you try the bloom boosters so you actually know what the bloom boosters do and whether or not you want to use them. Now, moving on to light intensity. This one is very crucial for your plant's development. And in flower, if you remember this phrase that I mentioned in my last video, DLI, your daily light intake, well, your hours of growth has been cut in half from 24 to 12 that are available. So now you need to squeeze all those numbers within those 12 hours. So you got to have yourself a very strong light. We want a minimum of 600 par to your plants. And to be quite honest, you really want to be in the more 800 to 1,000 range. That'll really be pushing your plants to that point where you're going to be getting those big, fat, juicy, dense, rock-hard nugs. And if you're looking for a strong, powerful, cheap light, this is the best time of the year by far. Everything is going on sale. That's right, it is that time of the year once again, the Black Friday sales. Personally, this is where I do the majority of my shopping for Christmas and the majority of the shopping for any big items that I want throughout the year. I want a big pizza oven. It's pretty expensive, but I'm not going to pay full price, so I got to actually wait till the Black Friday weekend. But these lights are already on sale. The last big item, there's a few small ones I'll tell you after this, but this one is the vapor pressure deficit, VPD. It is very big on whether or not you have a great success or minimal success with your plants. It is how fast that humidity can transport itself through your plant, from the roots all the way up to the leaves. If you have too much humidity at the top, it's like a wall. It's not going to off-gas. I think I spoke a little bit too soon when I said the last of the big ones because I forgot about genetics. Yes, genetics is the main driver for everything. If you don't have good genetics, well, you ain't going to have good plants. It's just simple as that. So make sure you start off with a good foundation. Make sure you get some good, reliable genetics and go from there. And now just a few smaller things to definitely keep in mind. Lollipop your plants, defoliate, don't rip down your plants too early. Don't jump the gun, because that can sabotage absolutely everything. So no matter what you do, don't do that. Anyway, I'm going to be wrapping this episode up right about now. So please go down there and smash that like button. Take her easy, everyone. I will see you next time.
Problem with filing is black people don't file because they don't understand it. Do you know how many times Donald Trump filed? Yeah. So then why?
But he's known as a terrible businessman. But no, he's
the president.
Yeah, but sure, but he still was known as a terrible businessman, actually a con man.
Do you know how confidently dumb you sound? You're saying it's bad that he went bankrupt 6 times. He's a billionaire and he's the president, and you still not
a terrible businessman and con artist.
Are you known as a good businessman?
I don't know.
Okay, well, you make a lot of money?
No.
You just now said, let's just go back to how ridiculous you are. The president filed for bankruptcy 8 times, still a billionaire. He's saying he's a bad businessman. You're just not that smart.
Okay.
And you have to acknowledge that. And you know why? You're not seeing the world. You know what happens when you have to go someplace? You laughing. You know what happens when you have to go someplace every day at 4 a.m? You can't go nowhere. You got to be here every day. You've been 15 years. You've missed the whole world. You don't know what you're talking about. And you're saying it confidently. And you're in an algorithm where people actually believe you.
So the entire cannabis industry has been thrown into complete chaos. A federal THC hemp ban is now on the table, and it's affecting all states across America, even legal states. No state is safe. But there's a twist. This ban could either destroy the U.S. cannabis markets completely, or it might be the thing that finally forces federal legalization. And today, we're breaking down the real pros, the massive cons, and how this ban could reshape legislation across America forever.
Opiate addiction, I think everybody's very familiar with, has taken a lot of our friends, taken their lives or addictions. And so we wanted a natural medicine to help the community and the country.
Since 2019, Rebecca Conant and her husband have run a small hemp business called Root the Rockies, growing hemp and extracting the CBD into a variety of products, from topicals for joint aches to face creams. A freestyle motocross rider, Rebecca says her husband has suffered many injuries, leading them into the hemp industry.
This is where we make our capsules.
She says this is the first year they've made a profit, but that could all soon come crashing down.
They're basically doing a prohibition on hemp and CBD, so we would be out of business because everything we make would be above that limit.
It will keep these dangerous products out of the hands of children while preserving the hemp industry for farmers.
In the government spending bill passed last week, a provision from Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell closes a loophole from the 2018 Farm Bill that essentially legalized intoxicating hemp-derived THC products in low doses. His fellow Kentucky counterpart Rand Paul fought back to no avail.
This is the most thoughtless, ignorant proposal to an industry that I've seen in a long, long time.
Under the new restrictions, a hemp product can't have more than 0.4 milligrams of THC, which effectively ends the sale of intoxicating hemp beverages, gummies, vapes, and other products. It's become a multi-billion-dollar industry nationwide.
There's going to be up to about 500,000 jobs that are going to be lost. And there's going to be billions upon billions of dollars of revenue that's not going to be realized by the nation, not just the state of Colorado, but just the whole nation.
So as you guys would have seen in that clip, even over there in legal states like Colorado, they're going to face tons of impacts when it comes to this issue. Even legal business owners who are just trying to set up shop and make a living, they're going to find tons of problems, and they're probably going to have to close their businesses. So that being said, let's dig into this, break it down a little bit more, and see exactly how this can impact full federal legalization. So first off, what exactly is the government trying to ban? Well, for many years, hemp-derived cannabinoids like Delta-8, Delta-10, THCO, HHC, and most importantly, THCA existed because of a loophole in the 2018 Farm Bill. The new move would close that loophole completely by redefining illegal THC as any cannabinoid that becomes intoxicating, regardless of whether it started from hemp or cannabis. In other words, if it gets you high, whether it's from hemp or from weed, it's banned. And this affects hemp shops, smoke shops, gas stations, online retailers, small farms, and millions of customers across America. This is massive. Now, there are many pros and cons, but let's start off with some of the positive arguments behind the ban. The positives, or rather the arguments that the government and some industry groups are using to justify this crackdown. And first off will be regulatory clarity. When it comes to regulatory clarity, right now the THC market is confusing and inconsistent. A ban creates a single federal rule. No intoxicating cannabinoids unless they're from regulated cannabis. This may simplify enforcement even if it hurts businesses. Now, another talking point that we hear time and time again is protection for minors. Lawmakers say that hemp THC products look like candy. They're sold without age checks and they're available in gas stations. A ban now becomes a public safety talking point, even though enforcement is a whole other story.
This isn't about corporate greed. It's about kids who are getting hemp products because they're unregulated, unlike marijuana and alcohol. Even if this were true, regulate young people using it. You don't just ban an entire industry. It's a $28 billion industry. It employs over 300,000 Americans all over the state, all over the country. It pays $13 billion in wages, $1.5 billion in taxes, and you're just going to wipe it out for your buddies in Kentucky? And by the way, if you're worried about kids getting access to it, did we ban alcohol? Kids get access to that too in high school, right? When's the last time you heard about a DUI that was caused by hemp? When's the last time you heard about hemp addiction? If you really want to make this about kids, there has been a huge drop in drinking by high school seniors after hemp was legalized. So what are you saying? We're taking this away. Go back to booze.
Another positive that some folks cite is that it can level the playing field for legal cannabis. Licensed dispensaries have complained for years that unregulated hemp THC undercuts them. THCA flower sells cheaper than dispensary flower, and it's available to be sold online. People can also use debit cards when purchasing online. Vape shops also avoid taxes and testing. Now, some people in the legal cannabis industry actually support this ban because they want to eliminate their competition. In fact, legal dispensaries in legal states are already suing hemp operators and suing him for tens of millions of dollars in damages because of this new law. And they're not even waiting until the law comes into force next November. They're suing him now. Now, another point that a lot of legal dispensary owners raise is that these products in the hemp industry are not regulated. They're not tested and they're not safe for consumption. With a federal ban, agencies like the FDA may finally step in, forcing ingredient transparency, accurate testing, label consistency, and in the long run, that could mean safer products nationwide. Now, perhaps one of the biggest and most hopeful benefits that could come out of this whole thing is that the pressure could force legalization. Now, this is counterintuitive, but to some extent, it is true. The stronger the overreach, the stronger the backlash. A ban like this affects red states, blue states, medical states, prohibition states. Suddenly, everyone is angry because everyone is affected. And that kind of chaos often leads to major reform, including federal legalization. And we will talk about that a little bit later on in this video. So those are a few of the benefits and some of the positives that folks who are supporting this ban have been touting. But let's flip the script a little bit and have a look at some of the negatives. What can this ban do to a multi-billion-dollar industry? Now, let's move over to the dark side, because this is where the real consequences kick in and some of those negatives really become apparent. And let's start off with perhaps the biggest and most obvious one, and that is billions in revenue will be wiped out. The hemp-derived THC market is worth billions of dollars. A ban instantly collapses supply chains, instantly shuts down businesses, halts online sales, and bankrupts family farms. This will hit rural America especially hard. Now, I know some of you guys are saying we have a year before the ban actually comes into force. That's November 2026. And during that time, we have time to lobby. We have time for some of these products to be sold. Folks can clear out the inventory. But after that time, those businesses may be forced to shut down completely. Now, not only will the economy and the industry lose billions of dollars, but they'll also lose over 100,000 jobs. From growers and processors to wholesalers and retail staff, this ban doesn't just regulate an industry, it kills it. And most of those jobs are in small towns that simply cannot absorb the impact. Another massive problem is that this ban effectively criminalizes consumers effectively overnight. Millions of folks rely on hemp-derived THC because cannabis may still be illegal where they live, or simply because they cannot afford dispensary prices, or even maybe because they use it medically. These folks suddenly become criminals and felons literally overnight. Now, what lawmakers fail to understand is that when legal access disappears, demand does not go away. In fact, it just causes the black market to explode. Legal and licensed hemp labs will be replaced by illegal labs. Unregulated carts and pens will appear on the market once again in large numbers. Dangerous synthetics will return. There'll be no testing, no oversight, and no safety on the black market. And this is something that we already saw happen with the vitamin E vape crisis. And it's interesting that they say they want to protect the kids and also protect Americans and medical patients, because under this new change, medical patients will suffer the most. Veterans, disabled patients, seniors, a lot of them use hemp-derived THC legally because they cannot get a medical card or simply want lower potency or even just want more affordable medicine. And this ban ignores millions of vulnerable Americans.
Yeah, Mark, I was surprised to learn that a lot of these families we talked to today, they use CBD and other hemp-related products to help out with their children and their family. Specifically, their kids with disabilities lead nearly normal lives. Without something like this, these kids are in a lot of pain, and these families don't have any answers. The Millers have 10 kids, including Lottie,
Say turkey.
and Flint. Both of them take CBD.
It's done world for our children.
Lottie to deal with the pain from the physical abuse she experienced before she was adopted, and Flynn to treat his severe epilepsy. The Millers say the CBD has been a lot more effective than medication.
There's lots of side effects, including suicidal ideation, aggressive behavior, hostility, rage, things that we didn't want at 9 years old him to learn to grow with.
Tuesday, they and several other families and farmers met with Senator Lindsey Graham, sharing their stories and asking that he reverse last week's decision to ban most all hemp-derived products.
My daughter was not high on THC, she was alive. And that was the most profound experience, seeing your childhood has suffered from so many seizures.
Jill Swing says before the 2018 Farm Bill passed, she'd have to go to the black market to help her daughter.
So we were sold things that we didn't even know whether they were fit for human consumption.
And that's exactly my point, guys. A lot of these folks will now have to hit the black or illicit market. And the truth is, a lot of these folks do not want to do that. It's just the reality of the situation. They much rather go to a safe, secure location with a storefront and get their products that way. So that in itself is another massive negative about this whole ban. And on top of that, it's also going to cause a massive political backlash. But that may be just what we need to have this ban overturned. And the massive political backlash may be most visible in red states because they may be hit the hardest. THCA and Delta A are basically the only legal access to THC. So what happens then? Those states may fight back. You can expect lawsuits, local bills, states' right battles, political chaos, and things can get really ugly. Now let's discuss how this ban could impact legalization at the federal level. Because here's the big question. Does the federal THC hemp ban actually help or hurt the wider cannabis legalization movement? And the answer is pretty complicated. According to some experts, this may actually accelerate federal legalization. But why is that? Well, according to experts, under this federal ban, the government is hurting red states, blue states, it's hurting farmers, hurting veterans, hurting small businesses. Politicians hate angering their own voter base. And this creates a national crisis movement, and crisis almost always drives reform. According to some folks, it may also fast-track rescheduling from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Congress loves to compromise. They want the chaos gone without fully legalizing. And Schedule 3 would allow only medical cannabis nationally. It'll also open up banking, enable federal research, and reduce criminal penalties. This ban may in fact be the final push to force legalization. Now, as it currently stands, what this ban also does is expose the failure of patchwork state laws. The ban highlights the inconsistent laws across America, the state-by-state chaos, the regulatory confusion, and massive gaps in access. What this can do is strengthen the argument that America needs a single national cannabis system. And a single national cannabis system that's similar to alcohol could essentially legalize the good herb at a federal level. Now, this may also be a win for some of those big cannabis companies. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll leave you guys to decide that in the comments down below. But the truth is, big cannabis companies will gain more power. The MSOs, the big multi-state operators, they will lobby harder than ever for federal legalization, strict federal licensing, national cannabis standards, as they want to eliminate their hemp competitors and control the market. And this ban gives them the opportunity to do so. Now, despite the benefits, the pluses, the pros and cons, there is a worst case scenario. And that is the ban actually strengthens federal prohibition when it comes to the good herb. And we've all seen how politicians and lawmakers operate. While it may be unlikely, it's always possible that Congress uses the ban to justify more enforcement, tighter restrictions, and crack down on THC overall. But we all know that public opinion overwhelmingly favors legalization, so that may not be a good long-term option for Congress to pursue. So what does this all mean? Let's recap in a nutshell. A federal THC hemp ban could destroy small businesses, hurt medical patients, spark political chaos, strengthen black markets, but it could also be that spark that forces Congress to reschedule or legalize federally, and that'll be a big win for the good herb. Now, whether you love it or hate it, this ban is definitely a turning point, and the next few months could decide the future of cannabis in America. So all that said, let me know what you guys think about everything that we discussed in today's video. What do you guys think the pros and the cons are of this whole thing? Do you guys think that legalization at the federal level will be a positive outcome if it is in fact an outcome at the end of the tunnel? Let me know where you guys lie on this entire issue. And in our next video, we've seen a Democrat socialist appointed as mayor of New York City, and what that could mean for the good herb, especially considering his Muslim background, is pretty crazy. We break it all down. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It's coming up right now.
From summer's end till the winter comes, till gray days turn to yellow ones. I stayed grinding for mine. I tried to tell them once, to travel to the moon, you gotta brave the elements. And battle many goons, you gotta cage the elephants. It's elementary, I speak with a certain eloquence. I smoke hella blunts, a habit I've been developed since I was a young boy playing the silver ball. See them stand, feel them fall. Metallica, kill them all. Living like this is my last moment, but a moment could last forever. Snap a picture in that, colon. Get whatever you gon', sip in your glass, hold it up. Hit the side on mine, get the tip in the back, go in. So many days we were sitting low. Better get busy living till the day you giving and then get to go where the sinners go. Pulling the cash and spend it slow. Better make it fast, but them should know. Matter no money, yo, it's all expendable. You'll be alright, yeah.